Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Chalk Talk here on the DK Pittsburgh Sports Steelers YouTube channel. Continuing to go through the Steelers 2025 draft class. Today, 5th round pick, Yahya Black. Yes, it is pronounced Yahya Black. We had that confirmed with him on the phone when we talked to him after he was picked. While we were covering the draft on the south side. So yes, Yahya Black is how you pronounce his name. If you didn't know before, I think I got it wrong, along with probably 95% of people who look at his name and think it's pronounced a certain way. Anyway, so the Steelers get themselves a gigantic defensive tackle out of Iowa in the 5th round. 6'6", 336 pounds. And if that doesn't do it for you, this did it for me. 35-inch arms. When we talk about length, for those who watched the Chalk Talk I did on Jack Sawyer yesterday, man, it's the opposite conundrum. Jack Sawyer has shorter arms for an edge rusher. Yahya Black has phenomenal length at defensive tackle. And we're going to really get a really good view of this here. Number 94 there for Iowa. And this is just, you can see the pushback right there. He gets off the block. He makes the tackle. This is why you want length, because you get that leverage right away. You can get to his chest or shoulders before he can get to yours, and you just see the pushback right there. Just that pushback, it immediately puts the offensive lineman on his heels. You have all the leverage. You can possibly, and then this is another thing. You're going to see this. See him poke his head around like this, like that. He's keeping his eyes on the play. He's not just blindly engaged with the blocker. He is watching the runner. His eyes are active. And he sees where the runner's going, sheds the block immediately because he has leverage, makes the tackle. This right here is going to be Yahya Black's calling card. It is going to be power and run defense. And the Steelers, after giving up 299 yards rushing on the ground in their playoff loss to the Ravens, they want to make sure they can stop the run. They want to add legitimate run stuffers. A lot of other things about Yahya Black, we'll get to it here later in the video. There's some legitimate concern about upside because of some other things. But one thing he can definitely do, and again, this is Ohio State here. This is not like some scrub school. That's impressive. That's good stuff. Next play here. Again, you're just going to see the power. And that to me is, again, and the one thing I like about this in particular is the lateral movement. He's a big guy, and he doesn't move very well, and that's kind of the other part I wanted to bring up. When we talk about relative athletic score or RAS score, you're going to hear a lot about that. It's a scale of 0 to 10. He scored a 3.61. That's not good. That's a poor grade. A big reason why, a 5.39 40-yard dash, and then his 10-yard split was 1.88. That's not a good mark. His 20-yard split was 3.12. That's not a good mark. His vertical was 25.5 inches. That's not good. His broad jump was 8 feet 5 inches. That's not good. He did okay in the shuttle and the 3-cone. Literally, it's an okay grade. He had a 4.72 in the shuttle, 7.63 in the 3-cone. His calling card is his size and his power, his strength. In terms of athleticism, he's not the best athlete, and that's where it really hurts him. But to see this, lateral movement here, being able to shuffle from side to side while engaging, while maintaining that power, and again, you can see the length, you can see the pushback right there. He is getting leverage because of those long arms, because of that power, and because again he has his eyes on the running back. He can get off the block. He can continue to move sideways. Now, granted, the linebacker or or defensive back or safety does a good job here of filling that hole and keeping the running back from going any further. But YaYa is getting off of his block right there. He might get there in time. But again, I like to see the lateral movement while being able to win leverage. I mean, again, that's not a posture that an offensive lineman wants to be in many times. So that's a pretty good one. Right here, he is lined up in the in the A gap as a one tech. Yes, he is primarily a nose tackle. Now, you might look at this and be like, well, he kind of missed the runner. Well, maybe, just maybe. I'm not going to – one thing I will never pretend to do here in these Chalk Talks is pretend to know how these guys are being coached up. Maybe he was just told to plow the center. That's not usually the way you would go about it, but Schneikes, man. He plows the center, and that opens up everybody else to be able to go make a tackle. I'd rather see him try to fight through and get north. That's what I would prefer to see, because you have the leverage on. Now, the center does come up and try to at least, run this block here and maybe get north after that to go get one of these guys coming. I mean, you can see, and then Black just, boom, explodes and just completely pancakes him. And so I'm not going to complain about destruction up front. I remember there was one play where Landon Roberts did that for the Steelers last year. Just completely annihilated a blocker. You're not going to really complain too much about that. And again, when you can pancake a center like that, number one, you're taking a blocker completely out of the play. And that will free up a linebacker or a safety or somebody else to go make a tackle. So I'm not going to complain about that either. Here, lined up, I mean, pretty much over the center, not directly over the center, so hard to call a true nose. But you can see where he likes to line up. And this is where I talk about those active eyes. He's not a phenomenal pass rusher. And you could get that from the lack of athleticism, the lack of explosiveness out of his stance. And you can kind of see when he gets out of his stance here. He's not the most explosive guy. He's not, getting that first step. When you watch people like Derek Harmon and his first step out of his stance, it's impressive. He's not getting that explosive first step. But again, because of his length, he can, force guys back. Here, I don't think he's necessarily trying to shed and then get north. I would like to see that. I'd like to see guys who can just flat out beat their blockers and really push the pocket. You don't really see much of a pushing the pocket here. He seems kind of content with just kind of staying there. But again, he has his eyes up. And when a guy has really long arms, I'm kind of okay with, if you know you're not going to get home, staying in a passing lane and being able to put your hands up. Now, just through the quarterback moving around, again, he has his eyes up. His eyes are on the quarterback. Once he sees the quarterback make this move up, he can then shed his block, and because of his length and his power, he can do that. And then he's able to rack up the quarterback for a sack. So I like that rep for the most part. There's a lot to like about that rep. Again, you'd like to see this explosive nose tackle be able to just go after the quarterback, and Keanu Benton, when he was at Wisconsin, could do that. But I'm okay with this too. You're not drafting this guy to be this elite pass rusher. He was mainly drafted because of his size. Mike Tomlin called him an F-350. He's like, there's a lot of F-150s. He's an F-350. And so the power, the run defense is going to be there. But to see these smarter plays where, you're not going to get home, and then you can keep your eyes up, read what the quarterback's doing. I like it a lot. There's Black right there. Takes on a double team here. I love this. And then gets, again, you can just see the power, the run. Again, this is against Michigan. This is the 2023 Big Ten Championship. This is not some scrub school. This is in a big game. And he takes on a double team. And again, you can see the length at work. You can see that arm just pushing back. And I love this bend right here. When you see those legs bending like that, I mean, he is anchored. He's not moving. I mean, look at the center try to move him, and he's just not moving. And then the center can't get past him and get to the linebacker because he's just not moving. And then again, the active eyes, knowing where the running back's going to be. He's an instinctive run defender, and he gets, again, when we talk about run defense, if you can get this type of a guy in the 5th round who can help defend the run, if you need a spell, and Keanu Benton, needs some time, a breather, a spell, and you can put this guy in, and he can help stop the run on 1st and 10 or on 2nd and 8 or whatever it is. That's a good guy to come into the rotation, and maybe you can do a little bit more to turn him into a little bit better of a pass rusher. Maybe. I don't know. But huge guy, can defend the run. There's a lot to like about this pick. There is. There's obvious concern because he's not a great athlete, but there's still quite a bit to like here. It's not the best pick of the draft. I'm not trying to oversell or anything like this. It's not the best pick of the draft. But for the 5th round, I do think that this could end up being a pretty sneaky good pick. And again, I wanted to throw this last one in here too because, again, the potential's there. Again, not explosive out of his stance. I like this first step a lot better. He's kind of, it's not straight at the center. But again, you can see the power. He drives him back immediately. And again, that length, that's what you want to see. He uses that arm to push back, and he just gets free. Now, obviously, the defensive back blitzing off the edge there, that automatically puts the quarterback in a situation where his eyes are not on the play anymore. He knows, I mean, that is not the posture that a quarterback wants to be in very often. And that blitz obviously has an impact, but again, Black's rep here, there's a lot to like about it. There's a lot to like about this pick, I think. I think it's a pretty good pick for the Steelers. Again, 5th round, big guy, 6'6", 336 pounds, 35-inch arms. I love the length here, and you can see it on the tape. It pops off on the tape. That he uses that to his advantage. When he is anchored, when he is playing at a good pad level where he's able to get underneath blockers, he can. I'm that one right there. That one to me is probably the most impressive of them all. Is, again, he's going for the center right there is absolutely going to double team and then get off and then go get somebody else, and he can't because he just couldn't move Black. He couldn't move him. Anyway, could be a pretty good pick. Could be a pretty good pick. Time will tell. It's a 5th rounder, so again, you're not expecting the world of him, but we'll see what happens. Alrighty, well, tomorrow it's gonna be a big one. Will Howard is what we're gonna do tomorrow. 6th round pick out of Ohio State, quarterback, just won a national championship. We will be looking at as much as we can. It's not going to be the longest chalk talk in the world, but we're going to look as much as we can. So appreciate you guys tuning into this one. Catch you guys on the flippity flip. We'll see you later.